Hi, I'm Charlie and this is my presentation for the module Sound and Music for Games and Interactive Media. Sound and music are really important for video games as they can really help the player feel as if they are in the world where the game takes place, and it can indicate actions and so on. With this module, it was really beneficial to have played a number of different video games, and one that stood out to me was Split Fiction, and as you're travelling across these different worlds, the sound design and the music would change completely. So that was really interesting to think about with this module in mind.
This is seriously tripping me out. Yep, my senses are being tested.
Throughout this assignment, I've taken inspiration from loads of different video games, and not only the music and sound design, but also how it's been used, and I've tried to recreate that in this game. Since I won't be able to cover everything that I've made, I've just chosen my favourite parts and I've put them in this video. So here we have my Logic project, which is where I made the music for the game. And I'd say my music is heavily inspired by the Call of Duty franchise, in particular the music by Jack Wall for Black Ops 6, and I'll show you a quick demo of that now. So obviously it's a great track, but I've also noticed that the music for most of the Black Ops games features a driving triplet pattern, and this is what I've used to start off my track, and then I went from there. I then added some synths that I thought sounded quite Call of Duty-y, I guess, and then the other synth was just an arpeggiation that sort of kept the pace going. Something else that I wanted to add to this track was some eerie sounds, and this is to sort of help it feel as if it's in that zombie world, and this is heavily influenced by the great composer Charlie Clouser, and he uses all sorts of crazy and unique sounds in his music to give that eerie feel, and it works great for the Saw films, so I thought I might as well try it with this music. So here's an example of Charlie Clouser using his sounds. So on the next clip you'll see that I found my own similar eerie sound, and this delays off into the background and it fits really well within the track. So that's all I wanted to talk about in terms of creating the music, and now I just wanted to talk about the types of music that I created with examples. So once again I've taken inspiration from Call of Duty, and this time it's the round change sound from the zombie mode. I then made my own version of this sound, and then I realised that the video game that we're working on doesn't have a round mechanic, so I just linked this sound to the player's death, and this worked equally as well. So the random pitch each time adds a lot of variation, and you could also argue that it's better than the Call of Duty sound, since it's different each time, but I'm not going to get too big-headed. So I'm just going to move on to the next sound that I made. So this is the victory music, and this will trigger when the player is very close to the flag, and this triggers only once, and this is because I've used a command instrument. And you can see once the sound has played one time till the end, every time I press the spacebar, there's no sound. And this is to stop players going in and out of the area, triggering the sound. From the clip we can see that many video games use the jump scare mechanic, and this is to further engage with the player and involve them within the world of the game. After creating my own jump scare sounds, I dragged them both into Fmod, creating a multi-instrument. I then added a command instrument which was similar to the victory music, so that it only triggers once. So I think these work really well, particularly the radio, which has original music by me, and it draws you in, and then you have a jump scare.
Capture the objective. Taking A.
I have these. Master Bruce, are you okay? Better. Thank goodness.
You could say that using this technique makes the game feel a lot more personal to the player, and they feel a lot more involved again since they're being spoken to, and these could be hints towards the gameplay, or these could be part of the narrative.
You're on your own, soldier. Kill everything you see.
For the majority of the sound effects, I started off by recording some sounds on this H2N recorder, for example a staple gun, a gel blaster, and the rummaging around of some nails and screws. After recording some sounds, I combined some of them together in a Logic project, and I didn't really want to add too much to them because I wanted to get as close as I could to the real sound just with my recordings. However, after listening to my sounds, I didn't think they were very convincing on their own, so that's when I turned to some online samples and combined them with my own sounds to achieve some sound effects that I liked. I'm now going to play the sounds before and after I added some samples from Freesound. So this is my Fmod project, and this is the music section. I just wanted to explain how I've made the stage 1 music a bit more interesting. So region B is the main loop, and then region A is the same loop but just with an added element. In this case it's some choir singing, and I've set it to change between these two loops by chance. So this means that region B could be playing, and then at the end of region B it has a 40% chance that it can go to region A, so that would be the same loop, but this time it will include the choir, but it could also just jump straight back to the start of region B, and it could just be looping that. So I thought I'd add this just for a bit of variation, to give the idea of a never-ending loop and to have different possibilities each time.
Kill everything.
So here's a showcase of some of the music. So as you enter the main room, the music starts, and as you jump over these boxes here, that's when the transition sort of music plays, and that's the build up, and then that goes into the action music that you'll hear in a moment. And when the action music's playing, if the player's health goes below 75, I believe, then it changes it to action 2, which is a key change and makes things a bit more intense. And after this, so when you go outside, the music fades out, so you can hear the nice atmosphere, you can hear the car as well. And we've got the normal outside atmosphere, and then if you sort of look to the right, or listen to the right I guess, you can hear some birds up in those trees, and that's a 3D sound that I added. As well as this, you can hear the 3D helicopter going by, which is quite cool, as the sound is going with the object. And also with the 3D bird sound, there's a scatterer instrument on there, which has the sound of crows, so they could come and go whenever. As the player approaches the soldier base, we have the fade in of the stage 1 music, but this time it has the addition of a snare drum, and this is to fit with the soldier theme. And as you get closer, it triggers the action parameter, which means it goes into the little transition bit where the music builds up, and then into action. So as you kill the soldiers and then move forward, the music will fade out, and then the only other sound that's left to play will be the victory music. And yeah, that is it. I've really enjoyed working on this project, and now I've got experience using these new softwares, and I would definitely be using them again. So thank you very much.